Luxary Auto One welcomes you to another untold story, where tension meets truth, and silence becomes a statement. We bring you moments that shift the spotlight, when the usual charm of celebrity takes a sharp turn, revealing the raw, unfiltered drama beneath. Today's story is about Jennifer Lopez, multi-talented, fiercely successful, always composed. And Gwyneth Paltrow, Oscar winner, entrepreneur, and unapologetically bold. What happened when these two powerhouses sat down together on live TV in 2025? The world was watching, but no one expected what happened next. This is the moment Jennifer Lopez walked off The View, and why it shook the industry. It started like any other episode of The View. The studio lights glowed, the audience buzzed, and the co-hosts leaned in ready for what promised to be a powerful conversation between two iconic women. Jennifer Lopez had just released a new memoir, one that dug deep into her upbringing, her career struggles, her heartbreaks, and how she rebuilt herself over and over again. She had called it Phoenix, a name she said reflected her story of rising every time life tried to bury her. Gwyneth Paltrow was guest co-hosting that day. Her recent wellness venture had stirred both admiration and criticism. She was known for speaking her mind, and sometimes pushing buttons, sometimes too far. Jennifer, ever graceful, had agreed to come on despite having once said in an interview that she and Gwyneth shared very different energy. The opening few minutes of the segment were light. The two smiled, exchanged compliments, and discussed Jennifer's book. But the tone shifted the moment Joy Behar passed the reins to Gwyneth to ask her questions. And it wasn't subtle. Gwyneth leaned forward, her posture calm but her words pointed. She brought up a chapter in the book where Jennifer described her painful divorce from Mark Antony, and how the media had painted her as unstable or attention-seeking. Gwyneth asked, "Do you think your personal choices made it easy for the public to see you that way?" There was a pause. A long, uncomfortable pause. Jennifer looked stunned, not offended at first, just surprised. She responded slowly, saying, "I think when a woman owns her voice and emotions, it becomes easy to call her dramatic." The audience applauded, but Gwyneth wasn't done. "But don't you think sometimes that visibility, this constant need to share, is also a kind of branding? Especially in your case." Jennifer's smile faded. The mood shifted. She leaned back and said, "Let me ask you something, Gwyneth. When you built your wellness brand off jade eggs and detox cleanses, was that about health or branding?" There were audible gasps. Joy Behar blinked hard. Sunny Hostin looked down at her cue cards. Gwyneth didn't flinch. "The difference is, I don't call that healing. I call it business. You call it empowerment. There's a fine line between being authentic and being calculated." Jennifer responded with a tight smile. "The difference is I've been in the business since I was 16, and I don't need to sell strange vitamins to feel relevant." The air in the room turned cold. And still, the show pressed on. They went to a break. But what happened off camera was even more intense. According to an audience member who later shared what she witnessed, Jennifer stood up, walked over to a producer, and said, "I'm not going to be disrespected on national television under the guise of empowerment." The producer tried to calm her, but she said clearly, "She's not asking questions. She's throwing shade disguised as curiosity." Gwyneth, still seated, reportedly looked down at her mug, not responding. When the show returned from commercial, Jennifer Lopez was gone. Her seat empty. The panel visibly rattled. Joy Behar addressed the audience briefly, saying, Jennifer had to leave for an unexpected commitment. But everyone watching knew the truth. Clips began circulating online within minutes. Viewers dissected every expression, every word. Team JLo and Team Gwyneth began trending. And while neither woman posted about the incident directly, sources close to the production confirmed what many suspected. Jennifer had walked off mid-show, refusing to return to the panel. The fallout was massive, and it wasn't just gossip. Media outlets debated the ethics of putting two women with known tension together on live television. Was it planned drama, a ratings stunt, or simply a producer's oversight? Insiders from the show said it wasn't staged. One anonymous crew member said, "We honestly thought it would be a big moment for unity. Two strong women discussing resilience. But it quickly became about ego, and neither one wanted to back down." Behind the scenes, Jennifer's team reportedly reached out to The View and made it clear she would not be returning to the show in the future. Not as a guest, not as a performer, not even for promotional appearances. Gwyneth, on the other hand, was more composed. When asked by paparazzi a few days later, she simply said, "Live TV can be unpredictable. I wish Jennifer the best." But privately, insiders said she felt blindsided too. That she didn't mean to offend, only challenge, and that she felt Jennifer took it too personally. As the days passed, celebrities started weighing in. Viola Davis tweeted, "When women talk healing, let's actually listen, not interrogate." Alicia Keys posted a cryptic quote, "Real recognizes real, and leaves when it's not." Meanwhile, Jennifer Lopez released a short video on her Instagram story. She didn't mention the incident directly, but she looked directly into the camera and said, "Boundaries are power. Choose your peace over performance." That clip went viral instantly. It sparked conversations about authenticity, media treatment of women, and what it means to be real on camera. In an industry that profits from drama, this moment stood out, not just because of who was involved, but because of what it represented. It wasn't just about two women clashing. It was about the difference between performance and presence, between selling empowerment and living it. And it struck a chord. Fans who had followed Jennifer Lopez's journey from dancer to global icon were outraged. Many said she had every right to walk away, that she had earned her place and didn't need to tolerate subtle digs disguised as dialogue. But others argued Gwyneth had asked fair questions, that not every interview should be soft and flattering, and that celebrities should be challenged, not coddled. Whatever side people were on, one thing was clear: the conversation had shifted. The View faced criticism for its handling of the situation. Critics said the producers failed to mediate properly, allowing a clash to unfold without control. Some even called for an apology to Jennifer. But Jennifer remained silent. She returned to promoting her book through other channels, appearing on independent podcasts and platforms where she said she felt seen, not judged. She was praised for her grace. Not once did she mention Gwyneth. Not once did she insult the show. She simply moved forward. And that might be what made her walk off even more powerful. She didn't storm out. She didn't shout. She chose silence over spectacle. And sometimes, that says more than any comeback ever could. In a later interview with a magazine, Jennifer was asked how she handles criticism when it comes from other women. She paused before answering. Then she said, "We're not all going to agree. That's life. But when you show up with your heart open, and someone tries to step on it, you have two choices. You can let it make you small, or you can stand up and walk away." That quote was later framed on the wall of her dance studio in New York. Gwyneth, meanwhile, returned to her wellness brand with renewed attention. Some of her fans praised her composure. Others criticized her tone. But she remained unfazed, continuing to speak her truth in her own way. Two women. Two perspectives. One unforgettable moment. As the dust settled, the industry took notes. Producers became more careful about who they paired together. Publicists started asking more detailed questions before approving live appearances. And viewers, more than anything, started craving honesty over polish. The moment Jennifer Lopez walked off The View wasn't just viral content. It was a cultural pulse check. It reminded us that fame doesn't protect you from judgment. That no matter how far you've come, you still have to defend your truth. And sometimes, defending it means getting up and walking away from the table, even when the cameras are still rolling. This has been a story from Luxary Auto One, where we don't just tell stories. We reveal moments, real ones, raw ones, the ones that make us stop scrolling and start thinking. Subscribe to hear more stories that matter, because sometimes, the silence after the walk-off is louder than the words spoken before it. And that silence tells the whole